Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ignite. I hope you are ignited, excited, and amped to be here with us this evening. I know I am. But as much as I am excited to be here with you this evening, my heart is not at peace. My co-host, the fun guy, he brings the energy, the vibes, the flavor Flav, Connie. He unfortunately is battling the coronavirus at the moment. I hope this is a wake-up call, or at least I know that it is a wake-up call for a lot of people. The closer it's getting to home. Please be safe. This virus is real. This disease is not something to be played with. It's people losing lives. It's people sitting in hospital, not being able to be with their kids, with their families. So please do be careful when you're out with your friends, where you shouldn't actually be socializing in big groups, but where you are out or in the shops and wherever you find yourselves, please make sure that you are following the rules, wearing your mask, keeping your distances, etc., because we cannot afford to keep losing people or keep having people sit in hospital because of the disease. Look after yourselves, look after your families as well. But on that note, coming up next, we've got a lot in store for you on the show, as always. But before we get to it, here's a song. It's called Awake My Soul by Hillsong. I hope you guys enjoy it. Listen carefully to the words and let that minister to you.
There's a sound I love to hear. It's the sound of the Savior's robe as he walks into the room where people pray. Will he hear praises? He hears faith. There's a sound I love to hear. It's the sound of the Savior's robe as he walks into the room where people pray. Will he hear worship? He hears faith. Let him hear your praise. Let him hear your worship tonight. Oh yes,
What an amazing song. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that it ministered and encouraged you as well as you were listening to it. So as promised, we say that the show is packed with a lot this evening. We've got some students that we're going to be hearing from. We've got some parents and also finally an educator, and they'll be sharing on the topic of back to school. A lot of us have recently gone back to our studies since the lockdown. Everything was just shut down. So we're back and we just want to hear how that's been for them. So coming up next, we've got Isaac, Jamie, and Sweet Alexis that will be sharing a little bit about that experience with us. And a lot more will be in store after that as well. So enjoy.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with the wonderful, this elegant, stunning looking girl named Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Priscilla.
You don't need to be shy. Today we are not shy, okay, Jamie? And I know you're not shy. So I just have a few questions for you, so you've gone back to school. How's that been for you?
It's been hectic. Like everyone's really under pressure, the students and the teachers. Because I'm in matric, I go to school every day. So keeping up the protocols, having my mask on all the time, every day, sanitizing your hands get dry, like really dry. And then the workload is just crazy because we missed out on our grade 11 year. And that's like the foundation for a lot of the work of this year, especially for maths. Like I had to learn so much of grade 11 work while learning grade 12 work.
I can't imagine.
And then I couldn't understand grade 12 work because I didn't have the grade 11 foundation. So that was so difficult. My math exams, my June, it's a joke actually. And the teachers are also really under pressure. Because they have to keep their classes clean. Number one, they have to teach with their masks on. Can you imagine talking with your mask on all the time? And then the marking and everything, teaching online. I'm so glad I don't have to learn online.
At least that's like the rainbow in the whole situation. And how's it been socially, like with your friends and stuff? Like, do you think it's affected that, or are you still able to, like, I don't know, how do you socialize?
It actually, you know what, it's actually not that bad. All we really do is like we keep our distance. Like if we're sitting in a group, we sit a little further than that. Than we are. And it's not that bad. We still talk and whatever. It's basically the same, except we can't like go out into the world.
And like, is there anything that you're looking forward to? I know it's difficult, obviously, the way things are, but like with school and everything, is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Well, leaving for one.
Leaving.
Like, I want to be done. Like, I just want to be done. But like when I think about actually having to do the exams, I want to cry. Like I'm thinking, it's only a couple months, but a couple months of what? A couple months of studying and exams and the schedule. Oh my word, Prisca, the schedule. It sucks. They don't think about what we have to do. Like I write history and accounting on the same day.
Oh wow.
On the same day.
I did both those subjects and I would have lost it.
When I saw the schedule, I started crying. I swear, I started crying. And then for finals, even worse. I write life science, history and accounting in a row. The same week, no breaks. They don't think, dude.
Jamie, I feel for you. It's hectic. It's crazy out there, guys. You're listening to Jamie. She's speaking from first-hand experience as a matric student, so it's crazy. But thank you so much for sharing with us, Jamie. And we've got one more person that we want to chat to before we move on. Okay, thank you so much, Jamie.
No problem. Thank you for letting me rant.
Okay, cool. So guys, we've got Isaac on here with us. We heard from Jamie earlier and we just want to get a feel from you as well. You're back in school. How's that been for you?
It's been quite hectic. Like for some of us doing our exams because school closed before the exam week. So some of us are going through a tough time studying. At home during the exams, and it's quite hectic.
And it must be frustrating with like the on and off. Like, are you going to school every day, or is it like sometimes you're in, sometimes you're at home? Like, how's that?
For my school, we're going once a week.
Okay.
But I think they need to change it because to stay at home a whole week without studying, some of us can't focus at home. Like we just need a teacher telling us to do this.
Exactly.
So, like,
exactly.
Yeah, for some of us, 1 week at home, it's quite hectic.
Yeah, I was telling someone earlier, when you have that time off and then you need to go back, it's like you're still on holiday. Like you feel like you're in holiday mode.
Exactly. Like you don't like the stuff they taught you the week before. When you come back, it's all gone.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's hard on the teachers because they have to repeat themselves every time. So like it's quite hard, yes.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you think that you're doing to try and help you like focus, get you into that game mode and get your work done?
Well, I'm trying to make a schedule.
Okay.
So like for like Monday and Tuesday I will like chill. Like because it's 1 week. And then for the rest of the week I can't try to catch up with work.
Yeah.
Yes, like have like Thursday maths and accounting, Friday English,
Yeah.
something like that. So like
Okay.
you try to put this stuff in a schedule.
Yeah, structuring yourself.
Yes.
And what is the one thing you're looking forward to? I know it's hard to find. Jamie didn't have much. But what is the one thing that you think you're like, okay, at least I've got this coming up? What is that?
Well, the one thing I'm looking forward to is that hopefully, I think we're all looking forward to this, the end of this.
Yes. This can come more finally.
I'm looking forward to that time, just chilling with my friends without the mask, waiting to stuff, go and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, for this year to end.
For this year to end. Oh, wow.
It's been a long year, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing with us, guys. There you have it. Isaac wants the mask to come off and he wants this year to go. So, yeah, thank you so much, Isaac.
Thank you.
Hi, Alexis. Welcome to Ignite. We're just going to ask you some questions about COVID and going back to school. And the first question is just, what grade are you in?
I am in grade 4.
How do you feel about going back to school during COVID?
I feel happy because I get to see my friends again and I get to see my new teachers. I'm a bit scared because of COVID, but I wear my mask all the time.
What do you miss the most about school before COVID happened?
I miss extramurals and I miss not wearing a mask because I can't breathe a lot.
Do you prefer online school or in person?
I prefer in person because when I'm at home, I finish my work late because there's a lot of distractions and lots of noise.
How does it make you feel when you're not allowed to go to school?
It makes me feel sad because I love seeing my friends, and when I don't get to see my friends, I feel sad.
How does it make you feel when you have to play with a mask on and not hug your friends anymore?
When I wear masks, I don't feel nice all the time because at break time we run and then I can't breathe a lot. It takes me long to breathe, and I miss hugging my friends because when it wasn't COVID, we always used to hug each other.
Thank you very much, Alexis.
Thank you so much, Jamie, Alexis, and Isaac for sharing with us. I've been trying to get Jamie on here for the longest time and we finally got it right. So thank you so much, Jamie, along with Alexis and Isaac. I wish you guys all the best for the rest of the year and just try your best, do amazing things for the rest of the year. Yeah, awesome. And then coming up next, we've got 2 more students that we'll be speaking to. We've got Ross. And then we've also got Brittany. Brittany is still in primary school. I think she's in grade 6. And then we've also got Ross, who's busy with his tertiary studies at the moment. And they'll be just answering some specific questions that they were posed on how the experience has been so far with schooling, with COVID, and just everything and how they've been coping with that as well. So I hope you guys enjoy.
When lockdown was first announced last year, March, I don't think I had many thoughts. I don't think I had many things pop into my head. It was more that, was this even real? I don't know. For me, it didn't feel like it was actually happening until it actually happened. I'd say towards October, no, August, September last year, that it's suddenly like, this is actually happening, you know. I guess because I was, you know, gaming a lot and not doing much, I was like, oh, it's just an extended break. Well, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. After everything, I think I got used to it. Took a few months, but you get used to it. I feel like you couldn't just not adapt to the circumstances and the way life changed. You just had to keep going. Before COVID, the kind of student I was definitely nice. Very stay out of trouble, no fist fights, no nothing, no suspensions. But I wasn't really into school. I didn't feel the whole idea. I didn't feel the whole idea was for me. But I'd say I was a good student. What I miss most about school, sure, do I even have any? Definitely friends. Definitely not being able to see the people you saw almost every day. You know, school was like 5 days a week for 2 months, so you definitely became close with a lot of people. Not seeing those people was quite a big deal for me. Socializing when I became a student was definitely less. A lot of my friends obviously were also students, so they also didn't have a lot of time, and when you'd usually hang out, it was almost like restricted to or limited to holidays and breaks, and even then everyone's, you know, wanting to see you, but at least then everyone's also free, so you could see everyone at the same time. Which one do I prefer? I definitely prefer physical. I cannot handle online school. It's actually very overlooked how intense online school is mentally and emotionally. You know, just how your brain has to cope with this, and, you know, willpower and all that. That's real. That stuff's real. It's definitely overlooked, but I feel this generation is very much more aware. My results. Definitely affected. I know most people I can confidently say his results were affected. I don't think anyone really carried on with the same marks. Feel like you took a definite bump or hit, but I feel like you got up again. The strong people got up again. Those ones just carried on going, even though it was difficult. What am I looking forward to most? Just some sort of return to life, return to sort of like normality, getting to see certain people, getting to see important people after a while from other parts of the country. Just good things. Hoping that you can go back to church and see all the old folks. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Brittany.
What grade are you in?
I'm doing grade 6 right now.
How do you feel about being back in school?
I'm happy, but it's scary and it's not the same due to this COVID.
What do you miss the most about school before we had COVID?
We used to go on adventures, we used to do a lot, we used to do class activities, and we used to do fun things together as with my friends.
How does it make you feel when you don't get to hug and play with your friends?
I feel very sad because, like, if my friend comes to school and she's sad, I don't get to hug her, and it's not nice. I hope God bless us all and keep us safe. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Ross and Brittany, for sharing with us. We really, really appreciate your honesty. I know it might have been triggering because all we keep asking you is about school, and I'm sure that's the last thing that you want to talk about on your Friday night. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. As mentioned, we are having a conversation with our parents as well. We've got Angelo, Anthea, and Alvin, and they'll be chatting to Grant and Wayne about, you know, how it's been for parents in homes where their kids are students, they're studying, having to do it either online or going in one day and not the other day, etc., etc. And we just wanted to hear how that's been for them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the conversation.
Hi guys, welcome to Ignite. We're just going to interview some parents and what they think about COVID and how it's affecting the young adults and youth during this time. So we're just going to go through a few questions. We got Angelo on the right hand side, the pre group leader, and then we got Anthea and Alvin as well. That's leaders in the church. So we're just going to ask them a few questions and just discuss some things of what as parents, what we think, how we should raise our children, what thoughts goes through our mind, and then we will just take it from there. So I'll hand over to Grant, and then we'll just have some discussion. Thanks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I just got 2 questions for everyone, and so I'll start off with Angelo first. So Angelo, so this what we're going to ask tonight is in terms of the pandemic, how you as parents are handling your kids and what you guys are going through. So as we share thoughts tonight on the Zoom meeting, we just trust that, that God will just share our hearts and that people that watch this Ignite, this Friday event, will be encouraged by what we share tonight. So let's shoot. So Angelo, the first question I'm going to ask you is, what has been the greatest challenge for you as a parent during this pandemic?
Hi Grant, and hi everyone. My greatest challenge during this time is making sure that my children are sticking to the protocols when they're out, especially when they're not with me, when they're going to school, and when they are with friends at school or after school, or in the little groups that they may find themselves in, making sure that they are keeping their masks on, making sure that they are social distancing, making sure that they are sanitizing, and the basics that we have to do every day. That's been my biggest concern, because I've got an 11-year-old and I've got a 16-year-old, and to explain things to the both of them and to let them know the importance and the seriousness of sticking to protocols. You sound almost sometimes as if you are in the army. You keep drilling them each day. Did you sanitize? Have you kept your mask on? Don't forget to put your mask on. Sanitize your hands. Remember to socially distance when you are with friends or at school and that sort of thing. And as kids, they get tired of hearing mom and dad say the same thing over and over and over and over. But if we don't do it, they may just drop the ball. So that's just been a challenging thing to just repeat yourself, to tell them to stick to the protocols.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Angelo. And we already 16 months in this pandemic, and I'm sure it's tough on you as well to just keep reminding them, same thing over and over again. But thanks for that. So Anthea, second question is for you. How has your kids been affected in terms of their studies?
Well, it's been hard, because they've always were surrounded with their friends, been at school, was used to a certain way of being taught and that. So they had to adjust very quickly, time to ease them into things and stuff like that. So I would say half and half. It was tough, and it was okay-ish on them, especially as time went on. But they, you see, especially with the school system, and Jessica being at university, it's different for each of them, and then they both have different needs and different things that they struggle with, and so you basically just have to play it by ear and have to see and monitor and look at both of them, pay attention, and help each of them differently. But it had its good days and its bad days. So I can't specifically say no, it affected them badly, or no, it was good. It had their pros and cons. So they were dealing, and they just had to get on with it, in a sense. That's harsh, but yeah, that's basically what had to happen. But we just supported them.
Okay. Thanks for that, Anthea. Awesome. Okay, next is Alvin. So Alvin, any positives that has come out of this pandemic for you as a family, and especially you as a person, as the head of your family?
Yeah. Well, it's easier to talk about the negatives though. But some of I can think for the children specifically, I know it was challenging, like Anthea said, about their studies. But, I think for some children, it actually was a benefit, because they were able to study at their own pace, and they were able to, their time would be flexible. So that is a positive, especially for a parent as well, because our lives were so busy with going here, going there, and so there's a flexibility of time that was, for me, in any case, it was a positive thing. But I think the most significant positive thing for me was that as a family, we used to communicate, but maybe it's because of isolation, we were actually communicating a lot more. Like the kids were asking a lot more questions, and we were able to engage with them, and on serious subjects at times. So I think as a family, we actually became more engaging with each other, and even, don't get me wrong, they're still in their rooms with their devices and whatever, but there's been, for us at least, there's been a lot of engagement with them. So that for me was a major positive out of this.
Yeah, amazing. That's awesome. Thanks, Alvin, for that. So, Angelo, back to you again. So the question I'm going to ask you now is, have you noticed any changes in your kids' behavior that you are concerned about?
Yes, definitely. Because of isolation, I think a lot of us as adults, young adults and kids, we find ourselves spending almost all the free time that we have on our devices, because this is the way that we are communicating. And I've noticed a change in my home with regards to my kids using the devices and staying in contact with friends, and just checking out whatever's out there on the internet. So they were spending large amounts of time just on their phones, and one would actually see how socially, over the past 15 months now, 16 months, you can actually see how socially awkward they've become in when you communicate with them, when you speak to them, when you try to engage them, because of the amount of time that they're spending on their devices and on social media. So that's one. The other thing is, there's obviously anxiety that plays a major role in general for the kids. Hearing of the news and the impact that that COVID has on family and friends and that type of thing. So there's definitely anxiety that also adds to the current situation that we are going through. And for them to see the anxiety levels in kids, it's quite alarming. That's why we as parents have to, draw closer to them and encourage them, love them, support them, and just, try to listen to what their concerns are and just tune into them a bit. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for that. I'm encouraged by that. Thanks, Angelo. Okay, so we're back to Alvin now. So, Alvin, your last question. Okay, there's one more question that Wayne's going to ask you later on. How do you handle situations that's out of control, out of your control at least, in the schooling systems, or your school, or the schools or the universities make choices that you might not agree with? What would you feel? How does it make you feel inside? How would you react to those decisions?
Okay, so that has happened quite a lot the last few months, I think, for everybody. And sometimes it is frustrating because, especially for me, I'm a person who want to know ahead of time what's going to happen. Because we've all got schedules, we all have got work and stuff. So all those changes, it does throw us out. And it is frustrating sometimes for the children as well. But, you need to ask yourself also, why are these changes being made? Because my perspective, I only see it from my side. I don't see it from the school side or the education system side. So there are maybe other mitigating factors that force them to change schedules and so forth. So there's definitely a frustration, but we need to adapt. We are in a world today where we need to adapt. Things change very quickly these days. So, and I think one thing COVID has taught us is to adapt to situations. We now in level 3. Next week we in level 4. The month after we in level 2. So there's lots of adaptation that we need to do. So I can only, besides the frustration, just help the kids to adapt to whatever comes our way with the schooling and so forth. Because one parent's frustration might be another parent's blessing. So we don't know the backgrounds of everything. So that would be my answer.
Well, thanks for that. I'm sure you're encouraging parents out there, you guys, with what you're sharing with us tonight. One more question, and Anthea, online schooling or in-person schooling, what would be your choice?
Well, I think I think it's half and half, honestly, because I think, like I said earlier on, the kids are used to being taught in a certain way. So they had to adapt to, online now. So I think there's pros and cons to both. From a safety point of view, the online is actually, the way to go. But having dealt with my girls, you also see how they struggle with online things, as the teachers, they're online, but certain things is just better explained in person, or, there's, so you, personally, there isn't a thing for me to say, no, online, definitely online, or in person, definitely in person, because both have pros and cons on the child as well. So I can't choose one. So it's also and kind. So take both.
So you would say go half the week online, half the week to school.
Well, no, time wise, I'm not talking about time wise, but I'm talking about the child's, from the child's perspective, and how the child was in
I agree with
mental
you.
state and emotional thing. Yeah.
A teacher always explains it better, and if they have a question, it's better to explain it right there to them. Where if you're online, everybody's sitting there, everybody's scared to put up their hand. It's just different as well. So I agree, but from the safety side of it as well, we're sending our children into with 1,000 children, and one of them can be positive, and so you think about all that things as a parent to go through that, and what is the best for them. I mean, a lot of parents this year has kept their children, start homeschooling children, and there wasn't as much homeschooling children from this year as ever before. That children had to actually register with the government to say that I'm homeschooling my child, and we understand. I mean, how much our children are carriers and of COVID and with no symptoms, so it was scary to send them. But even from my side, the social side, especially as a younger child, you can see they need that. They miss their friends too much. They don't worry about COVID. They don't understand the dangers of it, and they're not getting as sick as what adults are. But they need to get to schools. They can't wait. Alexis actually hates holidays because she wants to be with her friends more than to rather be at school. But she doesn't understand the dangers of it. So, but I think that everything's also from an online side of it has shot up. I mean, I think UCT is opening an online matric school from next year or something like that. But there's so much more technology that's happening now and making things easier. And because we're learning, we have to learn. We have to learn quickly. I mean, how much businesses are working from home? They'd never done it before, and they're all working at home now. The business world, the business factories, not factories, but buildings are standing empty because businesses realize that people can work at home and we can save our rent now. So the online way has changed this whole. COVID has changed it, and in an instant, the people we couldn't think about it. It just had to happen. So I would say that is a good thing, but still. We still miss the social side of it. I still think we're social beings, and we have to meet with people and speak to people. And I think in long term, psychologically, this is gonna scar our children more if we go a long time in social, in just online all the time, because we're not meant to be this way. So I think Anthony is right. The 50-50 is we need both worlds. We need the both of the worlds together.
It also depends on the circumstances. Like, not everybody can afford to teach to log on. So that aspect as well. So that's why it can't be just the one. Have to be looked at because both have its pros and cons. So
exactly. The kids also lose a lot of soft skills, social skills and so forth, because on the internet today you can say whatever you want. It's almost like you are protected. So there are some skills that our kids are losing through online because they're not getting involved with other kids of their peers.
No, definitely, that's also a good point. Okay, so the last question is just what encouragement would you give other parents that's watching, ways that we can support our children during this time when they can't be with their friends, when they can't socialize with their family, with their cousins, with anybody? What other support, what other encouragement can we give the parents that's watching today that you can maybe implement with your own children and just give some thoughts to that? Angelo, you put up your hand there.
I would just say that as parents, we should definitely try to get out of the comfort zone that we may have found ourselves in, and the way we've been doing life before COVID, and especially because we we cannot meet in groups, and that's what kids do. That's what youngsters do. I would then just say, as an encouragement for myself and to every other parent out there, is to be intentional about spending time with your kids. Listen to them. As I said before, you know, hear what's important to them. Hear what their needs are, and try and meet with them. Try to put yourself in their position. I know it's difficult. I find it very challenging having a 16-year-old and, you know, trying to, you know, ask cool questions to get information from them and that type of thing. But it's what we're gonna have to do if you know, we need to see this thing through together, and we don't want to lose our kids through this pandemic because they just, you know, in their room on their devices, and, you know, they are exposed to so many things on the internet. And, you know, I would just say I would rather have quality time spent with them and communicating with them, talking to them and hearing what their needs are. And yeah, just hang out with them and be the best parent that you can.
Thanks for that, Angelo. Just for the one question I would, one comment I want to actually make now is the homeschooling. Some of our parents are learning quite a bit, or some of the children are actually teaching their parents, Daddy, it's not was, it is.
Yeah. No,
so yeah, that's
Alvin,
the funny side of things.
Alvin, you also wanted to say something?
Yeah, on encouragement, you know, I think the kids today, they are a lot more under pressure, because homeschooling or online learning, it's a lot of it, it's teaching yourself. So there's a lot of frustration with the kids because maybe they can't get the thing right, or they don't understand it, and sometimes that boils over. So I think as parents, we must also sometimes be the calming effect, so that we can get them to refocus. I think a lot of it is about focusing on what you are doing and just to get the task done. So I think, like Angelo said, just to be there for them, to encourage them. And I think maybe what I've also learned is that not to dictate to them too much, because the situation is new. So they also still finding their own way with this. So listening to them is definitely important. Hearing what they say, but read in between the lines, because kids don't always come out and say what is bothering them. So as parents as well, be intentional on when listening to them, and make sure that they know that you hear them and you're not just listening. And I think just be there for them and let them know that you are there, and they can come to you whenever, not only with schoolwork, but with other frustrations that they might have as well.
Yeah, no, great.
100%.
I think that out of all the encouragement, the main encouragement is spend time with him. There's going to come a time that they don't want to spend time with you, but I think this time is actually giving us more time with him to spend time with us. When they don't have any other friends but ourselves. We all live our lives that is so fast and so busy all the time. We don't have time to spend with him, but now that we have time with him, spend time with him, get closer to them, so that they get more encouragement from us, and they'll be able to open up easier, because they're really getting to know you and you getting to know them better. Because let them spend less. I think we need to take it back to the old days where they don't have to spend so much time on their devices, but spend more time as family, playing games together, doing things like that together, where they can learn that you don't have to be on the internet all the time, and that also draws families together. I mean, just you can see the difference. So I think the encouragement, the most important, is spend time, listen to them, but don't let them just be alone in a room all the time on devices. I think that's the worst thing that you can do at this time, because you don't know what's going through their heads. So I just want to thank you guys for tonight. Thanks for giving us all the encouragement words and what you guys are going through. We hope that the rest of the parents that's listening tonight, if you're going through the same thing, that you got encouragement, and that you just keep pushing on, keep spending time with them, just showing them love, and support, and listening to them. So I just want to thank you guys for this evening.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Anthea, Alvin, and Angelo. Thank you for being so open and sharing your experience with us as parents who have kids going through school during these difficult times. We really appreciate your input. So we've heard from the students, we've heard from the parents. Last but not least, we're going to hear from Lynette. She'll be sharing her experience as an educator, being in that environment during these difficult times. So, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lynette. I'm an educator at Turfel Primary School, and I've been asked to share my experiences and the challenges and even the positives of my time during the pandemic so far. You know, as educators, we were really faced with many challenges as we found ourselves in uncharted waters. From the start, we were put into a situation where we had to think very quickly and certainly adapt to the many things that came our way, and I suppose to our new normal. We found ourselves in a situation where our learners needed our help in their learning from their homes, and we had to give support in many different ways. We had to give support in helping our learners who really found it very tough to work on their own at home. We also had to give support in a way that kept our learners on track with the curriculum, and also made sure that no learner missed out. This didn't only require dedication and discipline from us as teachers, but it certainly required a lot of discipline from the learners and even their parents alike. As educators, definitely I feel we had to become quite creative. We had to become innovative in the way that we did things in order for us to make sure that we connected with our learners. It was very vital. So yes, we faced many challenges, and I think this even led to many teachers feeling very exhausted. They worked longer hours, different styles of planning had to take place. So there's a lot more thinking involved in getting ready to make sure that we meet the requirements that our learners needed to meet. So with the switch to remote learning, we had to make sure that every learner was, I think I would rather say every learner, we had contact with every learner and no learner missed out. After the hard lockdown, we were faced with the return of learners, and they returned grade by grade, which was very trying for us as well. When on the learners' return, we started blended learning, and with blended learning came what at our school a rotational timetable, and this meant that we only saw 50% of our learners for a few days at a time. And so now a plan of action was need to be put in place to be able to teach learners at school and those learners at home. The follow-up of the learners at home was crucial. It was vitally important because learners could so easily miss out and not kind of keep up or stay on track. We were faced with further challenges when learners returned. We were faced with challenges like time constraints. There was this new adapted curriculum that everybody had to kind of familiarize themselves with and get used to. We had to, as teachers, ensure that all protocols were followed in the school to ensure that all learners, all staff were safe at school at all times. And all this while teaching and learning had to happen. And if this was a lot, it was compounded by the third wave, where we would daily receive calls of learners testing positive, staff testing positive, and even parents testing positive. And this made the plans that we put into action, moving targets, besides the emotional stress that came with it, being the child's secondary caregiver. A lot of stress also as we supported each other, as we had to be the support for each other, as staff, as colleagues, for our learners, and in many instances, even our parents as well. So, my approach was just to keep the focus and concentrate on things that I knew would help and assist me as a teacher in the long run through the pandemic. So planning became important, preparing became important, and of course adapting. That word adapt was a huge word for me, because I knew that as things kind of unfolded every day, one just needed to adapt. So yes, these were constants: planning, preparing, and adapting. So having said all that, just mentioning a few of the challenges that we went through, I also tried to take away from a situation some positives. And I always try to see the light in everything. And so the positives I can certainly say is, even though we were experiencing difficult and trying times, I see how teachers' skill sets not only developed, but they were tested. I see how a greater appreciation for the teacher's role as the educator, there definitely is a greater appreciation. I see that some new methodologies, revised methodologies, are now going to be used in the future. We will definitely make use of them. The exposing of the disparities between the haves and the have-nots, I feel that is a really good thing, because what it does now, hopefully, is force the government to try to bridge that gap. For me personally, working with small classes was such a joy. It gave me, and I suppose other educators, the opportunity to see the value in small classes and how individualistic the lessons can become, which was really great. So yes, those are a few of the challenges which, as a teacher, I experience, and I'm pretty sure I speak for many of my colleagues as well. But my encouragement that I want to leave to the learners and to students today is to say to you that, remember, you are not alone. The pandemic has affected not only our health, but it has affected our lives. And we will get through this. By the grace of God, we will get through this, and we will get through this together. If anything, we will be wiser, we will be stronger, and we will be more resilient. So don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Just keep moving forward and keep trying to be as productive as you can. COVID and lockdown has been exhausting on everyone, and it has caused many to discount the importance of our mental health. So we don't need to hide our struggles. We are all in this together, and we can face it together. Let me just say, by faith, we can continue to trust the Lord, who is able to empower us with strong minds and a mental capacity to endure this. I want to leave you with a scripture today. The scripture is from Deuteronomy, verse 31, verse 6. It says, "So be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not panic. The Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither leave you nor will he abandon you." And so, yes, the Lord is challenging you and me to be strong in him. He's challenging us to be strong in him and in the power of his mighty strength. What greater reassurance do you and I have, just knowing that the Lord offers us this reassurance as children in him. I thank you for the opportunity of being able to share. I trust that you were encouraged. And yes, I want to encourage you with this last words to say, stay the course, keep smiling, keep loving and caring for each other. And may the Lord God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Lynette, for sharing with us. Okay, me saying Lynette felt really weird. I'm really sorry, Auntie Lynette. But thank you so much for sharing with us your experience being in the education space, the way you've been, and sharing that experience with us. We really appreciate it. And being a student myself, I can relate to a lot to what was said this evening from the student's perspective. I've been through primary school, high school. I first or personally cannot even imagine going through high school or primary school under these circumstances. It's really challenging. And as a student myself, I know how challenging it can be. You can feel, or not can feel, a lot of us are feeling quite alone